I do know for a fact, looking at all the analyses of it and stuff like that, like the the one thing that damned them the most was just like this massive acquisition, like bonanza they had, the last over the last 3 years and stuff like that. That hurt them a lot. As a matter of fact, remember, like on this very show, like you, me, Stephanie, we were talking about the fact that this is seismic and how are they going to be able to handle it?
Hmm.
Like on one side, it seemed very exciting that they're going to have all this talent, all these IPs and all this stuff. But at the same time, it's like, how are you going to manage that?
Uh-huh.
Apparently, they weren't managing it. Like,
I mean, it was a nice idea to fill Game Pass with these smaller games. Like Double Fine works for Game Pass, right?
Mhm.
Costume Quest, Psychonauts, those types of games work. Hellblade, Ninja Theory, great studio, not a AAA studio, not going to sell millions of copies, but a great team that you
Yeah.
could use for whatever. It's when you start spending $77 billion on Bethesda, and it's those teams that really they're too big to manage. They're too
Yeah.
big for Xbox to manage, right? And that was the problem. Like that, the more and more I've sat and thought about it, the more and more I was like, man, that's the problem. You're going to buy Bethesda. You have a Bethesda. Like, okay, Obsidian, not quite Bethesda, but they make the same style of games. You have In Exile. They make similar style games to Fallout, right? Like you have teams that already do those things. And I get that you want to be the home of Western RPGs or shooters or, but you're cannibalizing yourself now. Doom, Wolfenstein, Halo, Call of Duty, you churn those out all the time. Like you're cannibalizing yourself now.
yeah,
But I think that was I feel like even with Activision and Xbox Studios and ZeniMax, people feel like there should have been a game out every month.
And they were
yes.
getting there, right? I mean, we finally got there, and then they started putting their games on PlayStation, and then nobody wanted to play on Xbox anymore.
yeah. The community,
Right.
the Xbox community panicked when that happened.
Yeah, I think it was just the fact that one of the concerns for Xbox was just like, where's the first party games? Because this is what happened with Sony also. Where are the first party games? You and Sony are making these acquisitions of these independent or publishers and everything. So you got these studios. There should be a churning out of games. Why are they taking long? Are they taking long because you guys trying to go for a real life cinematic thing instead of just making a basic video game that we all can enjoy?
There was a part of that. There was a part of that was mentioned that we didn't mention, that a lot of it was because of mismanagement. Like, like when I mentioned the whole 14 layers of management to get to development and stuff like that, that's part of it.
Right, because there should have been some AA games. There should have been some Bid in Heaven style games, or there should have been something
double A games.
I mean,
from
AA games.
What's that?
That was the part they were good at pumping out. They had, Psychonauts and gosh, what was Flight Simulator and Gears Tactics, and they had these AA and single A style games pumping out. The problem was they didn't have their big tempo games. Halo was supposed to come out at the launch of the console. Remember that?
Yeah,
it's on the box. Literally, Master Chief on my Xbox Series Xbox. Guess what?
They introduced that new engine to show off what their next game was going to be. The next Halo game was going to be.
I mean,
So it kind of just felt like, I agree with you guys, the mismanagement. Yeah, it should have been a balance of style of games that you don't need a big AAA game. If your AA and your single A games could fill the gap, if you could build your player base library, we'll get to the point where there's just too many games, but people will buy it, and whether it goes on their backlog or they're currently paying, they invested into your ecosystem by buying the game, even if it's on Game Pass or not, they went out and buy it.